I love when we have breaking news on the live stream, and it's the least surprising news of all time because we all knew it was going to happen, and it would be completely defunct and laughed out of publishing if they didn't. But guess who? Take a wild guess who Time Magazine's Person of the Year is. Yes, it's one President-elect, 45 and 47, Donald J. Trump. See, this is interesting, and they just announced it a couple of minutes ago as we go live here. Now, we've known for days, though. I actually had to look at this and look at the timestamp and say, wait a minute, didn't they already announce that? Because we all knew. Like, of course he's Person of the Year. Who was they going to give it to? Now, if they hadn't, that would have been amazing because that just would have been a complete joke. And you would know that they would do it because it was completely anti-Trump bias. But they had to. And don't fool yourself. It's not because anybody at Time Magazine likes Trump or wants to give him any more publicity. It's because they want more attention. I mean, how often do you hear people talking about Time Magazine? Honestly, like in normal conversation, everyday life, who talks about Time Magazine except this time of the year when it's Person of the Year, Athlete of the Year? Oh, and we got to get to Athlete of the Year in a second here, or whatever. But all right, so Trump is Time Magazine's Person of the Year. We'll get into that and his reaction. I can't wait to hear his reaction in this one because if I'm not mistaken, I think he turned it down last time he got it in early 2017. I don't know, whatever. We'll figure that out together. Also, some other stuff to talk about here. We'll talk about those New Jersey drones. Well, after yesterday, somebody is full of caca. We're not getting the real story from anybody on this. From no one. Who do you believe? What's the messaging here? Fascinating. Typical Washington, D.C. swamp action here. We'll talk about that, as well as Justin Trudeau in Canada. Don't ever trust anybody who calls himself a male feminist. And because it's the Christmas party season, would you ever crash a Christmas party? You wouldn't believe how many people say yes, and they have. Interesting. Maybe there's some rules to talk about as far as that one goes. Let's get to all the stuff. What are the people in the news talking about? How do we decipher all this? Well, extra fine and wicked radio and the audio version of the podcast always available wherever you get those, and this will live as a live stream later on. Still working on something where this will be on some other platforms if you prefer Facebook. Probably pretty soon. It's on YouTube, but not much going on there. Mostly it's on X. This is kind of like my for all material. And I take clips and whatever, and I throw it onto other platforms. Even on TikTok, yes, you can find me on there. The Chinese run TikTok. So that's why I do this live, because this is my platform of all information for communication stuff. And I take pieces of it and throw it out to the different formats. So more of that is coming pretty soon. Apparently. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. Time Magazine's Person of the Year, Donald J. Trump. I can't wait to see the statement on this. He hasn't released one yet. Probably one coming out in minutes from Mar-a-Lago. And it'll be something like, and I hope it's a video. That would be great. It'll be Trump, Nobody said it could be done. It's unbelievable. Of course they had to pick me. He'll say something to that effect. Or does he do like he did before where he turned it down because, remember, it used to be Time's Man of the Year. Remember that? Well, that wasn't politically correct. You couldn't go with that anymore. So Trump was all pissed off about that before he said, I won't accept this because I will not go with the Gender Indifferent Person of the Year award, but he'll accept this one because he just loves it. Because he's a two-time winner, so he's got to take that. Now, the Athlete of the Year was announced a couple of days ago. We didn't talk about this yet because I was kind of waiting to tie this into the Trump announcement. The Athlete of the Year, and another obvious pick, and absolutely should be this person because I don't think anybody made more of an impact in sports, and now we could say professional sports, than Caitlyn Clark, the fantastic female basketball player in the WNBA now. I guess she plays for Indiana. She's a phenomenal player. And we did talk about her before, and, this is going back like a year where they were just beating up on the girl, in the WNBA. It was just brutal. Well, she survived that. Did great for her team, and I also saw something crazy about her. I think her team is the Indiana Fever. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to try to lie to you. I've never sat down in front of my television and tried to watch a WNBA game. Not once. Never. The only highlights I've ever paid attention to were her highlights from this past season with her Indiana team. Just full disclosure. I have less than zero interest in that league. I'm not into it. I don't like it. Hope it does well for them. Whatever. But her story was one worth paying attention to. And now the story continues, and she's done so well until now. I don't know who her publicist is. I don't know who released this to Time Magazine, but boy, was this a disappointing statement when she wins it. So they always put this in the article. what she thinks about the award, their statement. And I don't know if Trump has a statement in there or not either, but, whatever. This is what she said, what's disappointing so many people. Quote, I want to say that I've earned every single thing. Good so far. But as a white person, there is privilege. And again, for me and a lot of other people, just to react to this, it's not that she's saying, about the privilege part. It's that she's even bringing any race into it whatsoever. Doesn't that league, from what I know about it, doesn't that league have enough racial issue, surrounding it? Like even on ESPN or whatever, when they show the highlights, it's always some race issue. First black player to first white player to, who cares? It's sports. Sports is where we're supposed to forget about color and just root for the color of the uniform and bring people together. That's what I was brought up thinking anyway. So she said that. I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. A lot of these players in the league that have been really good have been black players. The league has kind of been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight it, talk about it, then continue to have brands and companies invest in those players and have made the league incredible, I think that's important. I understand what she's trying to say. I get it. I totally do. But why even bring that up? Why even? Because it's automatically built in going to be controversial. So why even add to what's already there? Because people that agree with that statement, they're already thinking that. You don't need to double down and bring it up again. Just a disappointing. I don't know who. The people surrounding her never should have let that go. And it doesn't even sound like a comment from the player. It sounds like a publicist released thing to get her into the social graces of the fancy parties. I don't know. Whatever. Disappointing. But I don't know who else is coming out with. What are the other awards with Times blank of the year? We got Trump, the person of the year. Her as athlete of the year. I don't even know what the other categories are. But again, this is the only time of the year we actually talk about Time magazine, because otherwise they're completely out of the mainstream. Anyway. All right, let's jump into some news for a second. And I kind of waited to talk about this one that we've all talked about, we've all thought about in our private lives, until there's some kind of a statement back or forth from the swamp in Washington, D.C. Somebody telling us about these New Jersey drones. What the hell are they? The background of the story, a lot of residents have taken videos of these drones. They're big. They fly over densely populated areas. Then they disappear. They go dark, whatever it is. But they're like close. We know that much. Well, I was waiting for some kind of a statement from somebody, right, before we even brought it up here in the live stream. Well, here's the thing. The statements completely contradicted themselves. The first guy, and this is long, but you got to hear exactly how he sets it up. This is why I don't really believe him. Congressman Jeff Van Drew did an interview on Fox yesterday, and believe it or not, I actually saw this live. He was talking to Harris Faulkner, and he referenced her. Now, he's from New Jersey. He's a congressman. He should know something that's going on for his people, right? He should be able to speak up against this. Well, he came out with a whopper. The problem is how he sets it up, and I never really completely trust people who talk about their credibility and the people they know and they talk to, and keeps on repeating, I'm going to tell you the real deal now. Now I'm going to tell you the real deal. It tends to create doubt in the mind when you hear somebody say that. But anyway, here he was. And it's a doozy. It's a little long, but you got to hear his complete statement. Congressman Jeff Van Drew about the New Jersey drones.
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. You know, I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, you know, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government. We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know.
See, that I forgot about that end part. That's right. Oh, well, I'm sure the government would let us know the real deal, right? Because they're known for that. Right. Here's the deal. And he may be completely right. I don't know. This is why I doubt him. First of all, just in my experience, personal experience, people who keep repeating and stopping, and when she expressed, I don't know whether it was doubt or surprise when he came out with that whopper, she goes, well, I'm telling you the real deal now, I'm telling you. And he repeated several times his credibility and his sources and his high-level sources. It was almost like while he was explaining it, he was justifying why he was the guy talking about it. And I think if there was something, if there was an announcement that big that was a foreign adversary, in his case, he said Iran, launching these drones, I don't think it would come from Congressman Jeff Drew from New Jersey. It would be a little bit higher if they told us at all. I think. Who knows? Whatever. Okay, that's one thing. It was almost minutes later. So Pentagon has to say something, right? The Pentagon has their own briefings like the White House press room, and the Pentagon spokesperson is up there answering questions. So the reporter in the room, one of the first questions asked was about this. What can you tell us? Please clarify something about these drones. Well, here's the official word from the Pentagon. Who's lying here? Or is it both of them? Somebody's full of caca. But here's the complete opposite story of what Congressman Jeff Van Drew just said.
Sure. So at this time, aware of those drone sightings that have been reported, at this time we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones.
Okay, then what are they? Like, somebody say something. And this is why it drives me crazy. It drives us all crazy. If there was a real national press corps, if we had a free press, the follow-up question should have been from somebody in that room. Okay, ma'am, you just had a U.S. congressman say they were from Iran. Can you either confirm that or completely deny that statement right now? Because because she fumbled around it and she didn't exactly confirm or deny. Can somebody tell us something? That's what we need we need a real reporter to get in there and say, okay, here's the deal. You're not leaving this room until you tell us what the hell's going on, because we need to know something. Unbelievable. So typical Washington, though, right? A congressman saying, listen, I got the sources, and those are high-level drones, and they're from Iran. Minutes later, Pentagon says, no, they're not. No, we don't know. We don't know where they are, and they're not foreign adversaries, and they're not U.S. drones. Okay, yeah, like he said, I'm sure the government would tell us. Right. Here's some other political stuff, but this is interesting, and this goes back to my theory, and I believe this for the longest time. Whenever you've got a guy at any level, in your family, in government, from a corporation, whenever somebody or something says that they're a male feminist, when a guy says that, don't ever trust them. They have ulterior motives and they're not being genuine. Because it's like they're saying, can't I be a strong male and support women? Like, why do you always jump to, I'm a feminist? Well, who said that? Again, to nobody's surprise, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau yesterday. Listen to this press conference. Canada, what the hell are you doing with this guy? Oh, excuse me, this male feminist. Don't ever trust anybody that says this.
And yet, just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president.
Oh, the horror!
Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist.
So here's the first beautiful part of that statement. Women's rights are under attack because we didn't, for the second time, oh, the horror, elect a female president. First of all, how sexist is that? It's worked into the assumption in his statement as you have to elect a female president because you just have to. Not based on qualifications, you just have to. I mean, that's the way to do things. That's what would make it right. First of all, that's the wrong part. And then again, any guy that calls himself a feminist, be very, very careful of that person. They are disingenuous. They're not them. Don't trust them. I will always be with you. First of all, stop speaking about our politics. We're done with you. And it makes me feel, at first when Trump said he was joking around, with the trade deal and the sanctions put on Canada, Trump had joked around in his style where he said, well, I don't know, maybe we'll make Canada a state. I don't know. And at first when I heard that, I was like, oh, what's he doing here? I don't know if he's going to do that. No, you know what? When I hear Justin Trudeau make a statement like that and comment about our election, no, go ahead. No, go ahead. Take shots at Canada all you want. Go ahead. I don't know what they're doing up there. That guy, Canada's in deep trouble. They really are. I hope to God they can straighten things out because our neighbor to the north, you've got a guy that calls him a feminist as your leader. All right, it is the holiday Christmas party season, as we talked about yesterday. Remember we had that whole thing about how to get out of the holiday party if you don't really want to go, but you have to go, even if though they say you don't want to go. Well, all the stories are coming out this week about holiday parties, Christmas parties, office Christmas party, everything, because this is mainly the week for parties. Most of them for companies, families, neighborhoods happen this week because it gives time to prepare for their own parties or if they're traveling for the holidays or whatever it is. So this study comes out, and it fascinates me. You know, I love my social surveys. And this one asks the question, would you or have you ever crashed a holiday party? And somebody, whoever did the survey, YouGov or one of those things, they came up with this. And it was a big one. They actually talked to thousands of people. And 14% of us said they have crashed a party. 9% said they've crashed a holiday party. Like just walking in, which fascinates me. 14% say they have successfully crashed any party of event without getting noticed. And the people that crashed a holiday party without the host's permission got through without anybody even noticing, which is amazing to me, which tells me it's most likely an office party. Here's how it breaks down. Would I crash like a person's party? I don't think I would do that because that's just rude. But some of these where they have a big event where there's in some cases hundreds, if not thousands of people, would you feel bad about crashing that one? Because I don't think I would. And once again, it gives us a chance to play a great clip from a great movie, by the way. Check it out. Office Christmas Party. That I would crash. The other one, yeah, not so much. But if you do, again, be nice to the hosts and don't wreck anything. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. You can always find the audio version of the podcast right there, wherever you get your podcasts. Download them. Spotify, Apple, what's the other one? iHeart, all of them, whatever they are. And this will be expanded out, probably the live stream, I think, on Facebook pretty soon. And you can always find the clips on, I never talk about the TikTok channel, but that's on there as well because I don't like to promote them. I know, nobody likes TikTok. It's run by the Chinese, but damn if that doesn't get a good response. It always does. Thanks for finding me. First takeaway, first of all, is don't ever trust any dude that calls himself a feminist, like Justin Trudeau. And secondly, as always, don't take any crap from anybody. Motoring through the week. Have a wicked awesome Thursday, and we will talk to you tomorrow.